Lovely welcome to this new transmission about the 39 Chinki, which is Liberation the Siddhi, the gift of dynamism, and the shadow of provocation. This is the tension of transcendence, and the programming partner of this is the 38 Chinki, which is the City of Honor. I also put the information like always here. And the ring is the ring of seeking. I had a little pause now for 1-2 weeks with the videos. Sometimes there's just personal things like that is not working out with the videos, and now I'm very happy that I'm here for this Chinki, because this is also Chinki that is in my hologenetic profile. And it means kind of a lot to me, and I had a lot of struggles with this, which is actually the shadow of the 38, the programming partner of the 39. So provocation and struggle kind of, they support each other in the shadow frequency. And there was a lot of kind of inner struggle for me also the last weeks, and so I didn't feel like making the last transmission, and happy to be back here now. So let's jump right into the shadow provocation, attitude and altitude. It's written here in the book. I always read the extracts if this should be the first video you are watching, and I also make it with own experiences and the limiting beliefs, negative beliefs that hold us down and do not allow us to live our soul's purpose. So the 39 Chinki and its programming partner, the 38 Chinki, hold a truly unique place in our collective cosmology. Above all other archetypes, these two represent the myth of the warrior. Legends and myths have extraordinary power over different cultures. You see, like one week offline, and then like English is so it's about the warrior and culture, and like the different mythologies, you can say, from the different countries there are. And the 39 shadow is responsible for maintaining a planetary vibration dominated by a single quality: violence, any kind of violence. Rooted in your adrenaline system, this 39 Chinki is a highly dynamic code that is all about action. It has a gutsy, explosive and primal quality to it. People with these gifts and shadows are not led by their heads, but by the primitive urge to act, whether wisely or foolishly. So it's really about timing. This is a Chinki about timing also. To not push out something too quickly, to know when it has to be delivered, and all about this. The 39 shadow is like a cobra waiting to strike. This violence is personal, and when aimed precisely at its targets, seldom misses. We most often see its manifestation in our personal relationships. This is the shadow of provocation, or in everyday language, button pushing. So if someone is able to push your buttons in your relationship, it's great when you notice, because then you are not letting yourself pushing those buttons that much anymore, which is really nice. So it is a matter of frequency, and frequency is about sound. As your attitude shifts, so your frequency shifts. If you focus only on the negative aspects of a situation, then your frequency drops. If you focus on the positive, then it lifts. It depends on which octave you are tuned to. Attitude in this sense is always acoustic. What kind of process does information go through as it enters your ears? How have you wired your own thinking and feeling to respond to the myriad intonations from the environment. Very, very interesting. We also notice from babies, from small children, they have different tunes, like they cry, and they can cry in different tunes to make you upset or to be pushed. If you have a children, or they want some support in a way, they need some food, a different kind of frequencies. So it's a good example with children. So the 39 shadow has a single goal: to provoke you. If you are easily provoked by a person, any person, then you are under the influence of the lower frequency of this shadow. You are trapped as soon as you react to the provocation. The provoker and the provoked are simply playing out an age-old chess game of abuser and victim. Yeah, so don't react in a way. Easier, a lot of times, most of times, easier said than done. Not react on something that you feel deeply hurt with, like that you are sad about, that you are annoyed about, where you cannot have patience somehow. To not react to that and to let it just be inside yourself and to just let it be there and change it in a way for yourself only is really a task. The programming partner of the 39 shadow, the 38 shadow of struggle, it is a genetic, or it is the 38 shadow of struggle. It is a genetic law that the moment you react violently, emotionally or physically to an emotional provocation, you are engaging with the energy of struggle and effort. In this instance, the violence is aimed personally and directly at a single person. Kind of like a bit explained in an energetic way. Also how the limiting beliefs kind of use it in an energetic way. So very important. The power of the 39 shadow over human beings lies in our tendency to take things personally. The astonishing reason for this is what we think we exist as individuals, whereas in fact we are quantum patterns in an ever-changing web of energy. Yeah. What else to say about this? Everything is energy. I mean, you know it probably from the esoterics, from quantum physics, from so many people say everything is energy, we are all one. And at the same time there's like this paradox, yeah, but like I'm still like here kinda and you watch it here now. So both kind of coexist, and yeah, it's kind of like it's in the existence itself, collectively spoken. We are united. So all violence can be understood as an acoustic field in which individuals react automatically and personally to speech codes according to preconditioned patterns. In other words, violence is an addiction for most people on our planet, which is why we endlessly watch it on our television screens. Yeah, even I do, to some extent still. So this makes me like really think, and it's interesting. We have to be honest and true to ourselves, and violence just is fueled, or Hollywood is fueled by violence. I mean, kind of all movies have a certain degree of violence. It doesn't have to be physical, it can be emotional. So in that aspect, all of the movies have violence in it. And that's just how it is, and we feel attracted to those television series. All patterns held at a low frequency trap the human life force deep within your body. The 39 shadow ensures that you do not breathe deeply. When you do not breathe fully, you deplete your energy and reduce your capacities. One of the sure signs of the 39 shadow is fatigue. People who lack dynamism in life are people who have allowed themselves to feel trapped in some way. The irony is that the solution does not lie in changing their outer lives, but in changing their attitude. When you change your attitude, or when the attitude changes, your outer life begins to reflect this. If you just change your outer circumstances without changing your attitude, you will simply end up feeling trapped again. So it's all about the attitude, and to know in a way the attitude that you are a collective being, and when someone triggers you into something, to have the attitude to act out of this collective being and to say, okay, look, I know there's some pain things within me and within you, and yeah, it's just how it is, and you don't react to it. So when you have the attitude to see it from a collective point of view instead of an individual point of view, then it's totally different. Let's go to the repressive nature. Repressive is like always more the internalized one, the internalized, passive one, and this is trapped here. When fear is expressed, it becomes anger. When fear is not expressed, it traps us. All repression is rooted in being trapped. Then the reactive nature, what surprise is provocative or provocative. I think it's spelled like this. I'm getting better in English. From time to time it's working better and better. Crazy. So what's provocative about? As we begin to feel our fear, it transforms into anger, and we begin to act it out or project it onto others. This is the energy of provocation. It is actually fear made dynamic, but there is not yet freedom within it. Yeah. That's kind of reactive and repressive nature. Either you feel trapped within and you don't know how to free yourself and you're repressive in a way, or you react in aggression in a way, you project it out with a provocation, there's an abuser and then there's a victim, and you might be the abuser or the victim. This depends on the situation, and this is how the human game is going on and working for years and years and thousands of years. Unbelievable. And yeah, maybe at some point it's enough. Let's see how long this is going to continue. Who knows? No one knows. So the pressure of creativity is the gift, dynamism. As you activate the higher frequency of this gene key, you begin to have a notion of the nature of the energy that drives all children. As we know, children seem to have endless energy that just crackles in the very air around them. Many parents are literally dumbfounded by how active children are every moment they are awake. This is the raw energy of the 39th gift, the gift of dynamism. You know what I mean. I write it here again, so this is actually really good because then you don't forget it. So, of course, children need boundaries, but primarily in the first 7 years, all they really need to do is play. Play is dynamism exemplified. It is the unbridled expression of the basic energy of life. Very interesting, because a lot of children very early get educated, get the masculine stuff working, get the left brain things working, learning quickly language, mathematics, all of the things. And it's good to some extent if it's not done too much, probably. At the same time, children should just play the most they kind of. That's I'm happy that I was able to do this when I was a child. I was able to play all the time, kind of. And yeah, it's beneficial now to me because I was always able to be a little bit out of the comfort zone of this structured thinking. So this is where I'm very thankful about my parents about. So what is this gift ask about? The same energy that is play for the young child matures into creativity and genius in adults. One of the simplest and quickest ways to raise your frequency is to do what you love in life. If you do what you truly love, you will unleash your creative dynamism. And the more creative you are, the more energy becomes available to you. That's the whole trick. So when you stop your negative patterns to work on you and out of you from a shadow frequency that are not what you need anymore now in your life, and you are able to establish new success patterns and you higher your frequency to a gift level, then you are able to play more like a child in a way an adult is supposed to play as a child. So it's not like you run naked somewhere as an adult necessarily, if this is not something you kind of like would do, to just go out on the street and go crazy. This would not need to be like that, because children wouldn't care at all if they're small enough, they would just do it. But like this is not something you need to do in a way of play or kind of like creativity. It's just different in adults. So the same pressure that was provocative at a low frequency is also provocative at a higher frequency. But it is a matter of what you provoke. At the low frequency, fear provokes fear and anger provokes anger. At the higher frequency level of the 39 gift, today I have it, you will never forget this gift, I guess. Dynamism can be contagious. Whenever you meet someone expressing their latent genius, it draws you in. In such a person's presence, you feel capable of so much more, and your horizons expand as you begin to breathe once fully again. So yeah, it's really about breathing fully. This is one of the first tricks, first kind of, you could say, to-dos to check your breathing. How is your breathing? To have a bit of look if you breathe more shallow in your life, or like if it's like deep already. It's a good sign. And when you start to not breathe deeply, you remember, wait, I'm now in anger, in fear, and there's something working on, and I'm not fully breathing from my whole system. This can also be a great attitude and the reflection in a way. The other aspect of the 39 gift is that it knows no fear. This is the true spirit of the warrior. There are many grades of warrior. There are those who simply fight unconsciously because they cannot help it. These are the people who cannot resist whatever it is that has provoked them to action. But there are higher types of warrior too. Those who are provoked but who manage to control and direct their anger. Because these people are operating out of a higher frequency of awareness, they will defeat those who cannot control their anger. Beyond even this, at the Siddhic level, are those rare warriors who cannot be provoked at all. They have seen the nature of reality. There are no individuals in the first place, which makes it impossible to play the game of consciousness anymore. And conflict. Consciousness. It's written there, conflict actually. So it's you're not able to play the game of conflict anymore. Probably the game of consciousness in a way you will always play, because consciousness is all that is. And yeah. The energy of the 39 gift is not afraid of hurting another person's feelings if it means breaking them out of a lower frequency energy pattern. The pressure of dynamism, what a word, I have to say. The pressure of dynamism cannot help but create more dynamism. And the word is so much here, unbelievable. The real essence of the 39 gift is those to touch other people's spirits in a way that helps them break out of their traps into higher levels of freedom and energy. Yeah, it's like to liberate people to dynamically, I like this word more, dynamically be able to get them out of the provocation of a low frequency and into a higher frequency. So let's go to liberation, which is the siddhi of this chinky, the crux point. The 39 chinky is highly individualistic. It has to be in order not to be taken in by the status quo. Unique creativity has to break out of all conditioned patterns in order to rise to the heights of genius. At the siddhic level, an interesting thing occurs when all this genetic pressure breaks through to a higher dimension. Consciousness merges back into the totality, which means that it has to give up its greatest gifts, individual freedom. There is a great irony here. Only in giving up the illusion of your individual freedom can you receive an even greater gift, the liberation of being. And yeah, there are very few people that are able to make this transition, and yeah, I can see why. And yeah, siddhic states are special, magical, and they have to be in a way earned, and yeah, they just come when they come and they cannot be pushed to come. So the more people you serve, the more rarefied your frequency become until one day you reach the crux point. The crux point is not easy to describe. It cannot be predicted and it cannot be prepared for. Mystics have usually described it as a death and a subsequent rebirth. In the case of the 39 siddhi, it feels like a physical death because this is such a physical, dynamic chinky. You have to put your entire being on the line. All your plans, creativity, work, intent and service must be surrendered into a single vanishing point. And when this event occurs, there is no mistaking it. It comes with the guarantee that you will transcend. There are no failures in this sense. Very, very philosophic in a way that human mind cannot understand it so much. Very much paradoxically, and yeah, it's just a new stage of humanity that at some point we are able to ascend to in a way. Even though liberation is often described as an event, it is not an event. Even though it appears to happen within time, it does not. It occurs outside of time. There are no sounds that can be vibrated that resonate with this phenomenon. There are no words to describe liberation because there is no process to describe. It is perhaps best understood as analogous to dying. Yeah. Liberation is beautifully represented through the metaphor of the warrior's death. The warrior's life is one of preparation, adversity, energy, and finally death. The perfect death for the warrior is to die in battle. So, of course, the warrior in this sense is you, the independent human being. Your battlefield is the world, and the war is life. The true warrior is the one who is willing to die for the highest cause, whether that is represented by your country, your cause, your brothers and sisters, or your children. Can be massively misunderstood because it's written the highest cause. So it's in a sense the highest cause, not in a shadow frequency, how we see a lot of warriors in a sense maybe die and soldiers die. It has to be seen in this higher sense, in this higher purpose, to serve everyone in a way, to just be more of who you truly are. So let's see if I have another one. Yes, the person manifesting the city of liberation is profoundly dangerous to be around. Not in a sense of physical danger, but in a sense of the shadow patterns. Because this person is not treading lightly around you, and yeah, it might be triggered a lot of times. So yeah, that's how it is. Just as the lower frequency of this Chinki pushes your buttons out of reaction, the sage displaying the 39 Siddhi will use any technique at their proposal or disposal to test the limits of your surrender. If you take anything personally, then you still have limits to your surrender. Very big sentence. If you have anything, or if you take anything personally, then you still have limits to your surrender. Crazy. Limitless, limitless. Life itself is struggling to transcend its struggle through human beings, and the 39 shadow builds the tension for change until it is released to the human genome as the city of liberation. Even before the mutation of the 55th Chinki, therefore, we will hear the dynamic explosion of this energy, which provokes the mutation itself. Thus, we will see how the energy of liberation ultimately provokes the realization of freedom. Freedom. Today I'm a little bit, more crazy than normally. Whatever, I hope I could trigger you a bit sometimes, maybe because you say like, oh, so many mistakes, whatever. I don't give a shit. And yeah, most important is that you live your life and you do as good things as possible to have service for others, not only for yourself. And so thank you very much for this watching of this transmission. Thumbs up when you like this video and my channel, and subscribe to here. There will be a lot more exciting videos. You're Dominic, and thank you. See you next time. Bye bye.